Today we're flying transatlantic from Newark to London on United Polaris business class. This would be my first time flying with United Airlines long haul, and I was very intrigued to see what it would be like. Now, even though I hadn't flown United before, I have spent a fair bit of time in the United Polaris lounges, including this one in Newark, which I visited again prior to this flight. I spent some time enjoying the lounge's facilities, including the a la carte dining room, where I helped myself to both a breakfast sandwich and a breakfast bowl. The Polaris lounge comes with ample seating, a beautiful bar, and some very nice shower and nap room facilities. And pretty soon I was making my way on board the Boeing 767, feeling very curious how the onboard experience would compare. Now, Polaris business class on the 767 is arranged in a 1-1-1 configuration. Now, you'll notice that the window seats alternate between being closer to the aisle and being closer to the window, and you'll definitely want to choose the latter for extra privacy. Taking a look around the seat features, I thought everything was pretty intuitively laid out. There's a storage unit just under the entertainment screen in front of you, and the tray table slides out towards you and comes with a tablet holder at the very end. The seat console consists of this very nice faux marble finish, and it plays host to a USB and power outlet as well as the entertainment controller. There is a storage compartment that opens vertically like this, but I did find that its irregular shape made it a little difficult to actually store things inside. Then over by the windows, you've got the seat controls as well as a dial to help you put the seat into lie flat mode. Now, there's something very unique about this particular transatlantic flight from New York to London, and that's the fact that it takes place in the daytime, whereas most transatlantic flights take place overnight. There's a few of these services per day that leave the East Coast in the morning and arrive in London in the evening, and this is my first time taking one of these daytime transatlantic services, so I'm excited to check out what it's like. I'm going to start by having breakfast very shortly, and then I think I'm just going to relax for about 6.5 hours till we get to London. Now, it's a relatively simple menu on today's flight, just one sheet of paper, and I think I'm going to start with the brioche French toast, probably get a coffee or maybe some orange juice as well, and then just take it easy a little bit until the dinner is served before arrival. As I waited for the meal service, I took a look inside the United Polaris amenities bag. Now, United partners with Away, a luggage brand, for its amenity kit, and I thought that the hard shell exterior was very satisfying, as though this were a miniature piece of Away luggage. Inside, the amenities also left me pretty impressed, because there was a wide range of trinkets, from the eye shades to the socks, from the dental kits to a range of skincare items by Sunday Riley. Alright, so the brioche French toast is here, and I'm quite curious how this is actually going to taste. I have to say, coming on board United Polaris, I didn't have the highest expectations because this is a US airline after all, but I've been pretty impressed by everything I've seen so far, and I'm eager to find out what the food tastes like. Now, as I dug into the brioche French toast, I have to say I wasn't really impressed by the dish. Sure, it looked quite visually appealing, but it just didn't live up to my expectations in terms of the taste and texture, which were a little too sweet and a little too mushy respectively. Now, the last time I was flying on a US airline, I distinctly remember the huge sundae portion that I had received as dessert, and sure enough, we once again got another huge portion of ice cream to enjoy. Indeed, I'm very much starting to get the feeling that the ice cream dish is very likely to be the best part about flying with a US airline. It's definitely a guilty pleasure, but if you do succumb to it, it's a very tasty experience for sure. Now, this is pretty straightforward as far as business class restrooms go. It's not too big here on the United Polaris 767. You've got mirrors on both sides, a sink down here, some amenities, hand creams, as well as a garment groom, spot cleaner, and fabric refresher, and of course, toilet and a baby changing table. Alright, I've spent some time using my phone, using the Wi-Fi, working on my laptop over the course of this flight, and now I might try to get some rest. I do really enjoy these daytime transatlantic flights because instead of sleeping basically the whole way, you can actually enjoy the flight. It's about to be sunset out over the Atlantic Ocean now, and pretty soon we'll be landing in London at about 8 p.m. local time. I enjoyed catching a bit of the sunset over the North Atlantic Ocean, and as we take in these beautiful views, let me tell you about Award Logic, the sponsor of today's video. AwardLogic.com has a mission to simplify award travel. The program supports searching up to 40 plus frequent flyer and credit card programs, and allows you to look up real-time award seat availability up to 3 days at once. There's a simple user interface that's easy to use and understand, and there's up to 12 different filtering and sorting options to find the ideal flight that works for your needs. If you'd like to get a leg up on booking flights just like United Polaris business class using your points, then go ahead and try out Award Logic through the link in the description below. Alright, it's dark outside now. It's time for the pre-arrival dinner meal, or they call it a snack, but I'm thinking of it as dinner. And I have to say, one of the things about having breakfast as the main meal is that maybe it didn't quite give me the chance to fully sample United's catering, because breakfast, it's not always the most serious meal for airlines. So for that reason, I'm feeling quite curious how this chicken dish is going to taste. And cheers with some white wine. Unfortunately, the chicken and broccoli dish just wasn't very good. And probably the best part of the meal was this cookie right here. And I think overall, because I was on the daytime flight, the main meal was that breakfast, which again, isn't really a meal that airlines take seriously. So perhaps that's the trade-off. On the daytime flight, it's convenient to get into London at a good time without sleeping the whole time. But the meal and the catering probably just isn't quite there, as was the case on this flight. As we made our nighttime landing into London Heathrow and took in the incredible views, I reflected a bit on my thoughts about United Polaris business class as a whole. This is overall a decently competitive product, although not among the world's best. It's got a nice enough seat with the features laid out in a sensible way, although I did think that there was a lack of storage options compared to other seating styles like a reverse herringbone. In terms of the service, I thought I got lucky with a pretty good United crew. They were quite friendly and polished, meeting my every thank you with a "you're welcome." The food and catering though is where I would say this daytime flight is pretty limited, because the main meal is a breakfast dish that wasn't very impressive, and the pre-arrival dinner was also pretty lackluster. I'll definitely have to give Polaris another try in the future to find out if this is the case across the board. We've now landed here in London Heathrow with United Polaris business class, but I do recall the last time I had flown New York to London, it was also with a US airline, Delta One business class, and you can go check out this video right here to find out how Delta and United compare, and let me know in the comments below which one you think was better.